There's nothing to worry about, Brittney. 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer. Oh, they didn't tell you? There were spots. You have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. The tumors have spread to your spine, ribs, liver, and lymph nodes.
So if you can state your name and your relation to Brittney.
My name is Ann Patillo, and I'm Brittney's grandmother.
Jesse, and I'm her brother.
Ginger. And I don't know what my relationship is to Brittney. Friend, I guess. That's what our relationship is now.
Are you mentally prepared for this?
I mean, it's talking about Brittney, and that's something I talk about a lot, so sure.
Okay.
I'm Brittney Beadle, and when I was 18 years old, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer.
How did you first meet Brittney?
She was dating my son.
We were very young. Kindergarten. Like, so long ago, like, I couldn't even tell you, like, when it was or how it was. But, like, I just remember Brittney always.
We both worked at Universal together, and we worked at the ET ride. And there was one day that we were both working the same shift, and she was at our like redemption spot, which is where you like take their express passes and you scan them and like put them in whichever lanes. And I was walking past her, or vice versa. It was like one of us was at the spot and the other one was like walking past, and we both just made eye contact and like stared at each other as we like walked past each other, and we didn't say a single word to each other like the entire time. And then she was taking the trash out that night when I was going home, and I walked up to her at the dumpster like behind the ET building, and I just like ran up to her and very awkwardly was like, I've been wanting to tell you this all day, but you're so pretty. And then I awkwardly just like walked away with my friend. And then I come back a week later, because that's like when I didn't work a lot there, and I had cut off all my hair because I used to have like really long like reddish hair when I started, and I cut it all off and dyed it black. And I went up to her, she had no idea who I was because I didn't look the same, and she'd only met me like the one time for like 10 seconds, and I just put my head on her shoulder, and now we're best friends. What was Brittney like as a child?
She was really goofy and silly. She liked to sing and dance and hang out with her friends and go to concerts, and she was just fun, you know, like she was a happy kid.
Do you have any like cute or funny stories about Brittney growing up? Like anything that would embarrass the crap out of her?
Oh my god, so many things. Like, we used to make music videos, like hardcore. Like, that was our thing to do. We made music videos to pretty much anything. And there was this one time we had this spy movie that we were like hardcore into. We spent the whole summer on it, and then we never finished it. And then years later, her like computer just like broke and we lost it all, and we were so devastated about this. But probably my favorite things were the music videos, and we lived on the trampoline. And that's all we did. Every year, every summer, I'd spend at her house, and we just lived on the trampoline.
When she was about 3 years old, I bought her brother a Jeep, a quad actually, or Jeep. And he got out of it and she hopped in, and she was driving all around my mother's yard with him chasing her to get it back. And she was hysterical, laughing, driving.
Yeah, so I was really close with my mom. We kind of did everything together. We used to take like trips all the time to go to Florida, just me and her. And I wasn't as close with my dad, but he was still there. And my brother, I was really close with him growing up. We would always get into trouble together. When we were like little, we would go out and we would like climb trees and like go get really dirty and go places we weren't supposed to go, and then come back. My mom was just like mad because we were just like disgusting.
She was best friends with her brother growing up, so she always wanted to do the boy things. So like she would go back to the woods with him and his friends and like build, you know, tree houses and run through the woods and just kind of do like the boy things. And you know, and used to go for walks and pick up like sticks and rocks, and we would come home, we'd get all these like nature items and come home and then make a huge collage with them and just things like that.
No, I had a pretty normal childhood. When I got into high school, I actually left in I think 10th grade, and I started doing cyber school so I could work full-time at Wendy's. And so I didn't really get the whole high school experience, but I got most of it, and it was pretty normal. Just I worked so I could get a car and have my independence.
She was always a really good kid in high school. Like, she was happy, she was friendly, she was in cheerleading and drama, and, she just kind of hung out with her friends a lot. And she was just, the girl who, like, if you were wronged, she would try to help you, So she was always, like, kind-hearted.
Every time she asks me, what is the favorite thing you most like about me, I always say it's her kindness and the way she sees the world. She's a little bit weird, so sometimes she just makes people laugh because the way she is, but she's a very, very good person.
I am an aunt, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a friend, I'm loud and obnoxious, and I'm happy, and I'm just me. I'm Brittney.
When did you first get this diagnosis?
I was 18 years old. So I actually originally felt my lump in February of 2015, and it was actually my boyfriend at the time who had found it. And I wasn't concerned about it at all. I didn't think it was anything, but he made me tell my mom. So I told her, and then she made me a doctor appointment at my family doctor. So I went to go see him, and then he said, you don't really have to worry about this, but I'm going to send you to a breast specialist anyway. So when I went to see her, she gave me an ultrasound and a mammogram. And I remember her coming to me, she goes, well, you have a mass. And she said, but 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer. And so she sent me home. And I was like, oh, great, nothing's wrong, it's just a mass, it'll go away. Well, fast forward 3 months later, the lump was still there, and it was huge. And it made my nipple invert, so it looked ugly, and that's all I was concerned about at 18 years old. I was like, great, I'm gonna have an ugly nipple for the rest of my life. So again, my boyfriend made me tell my mom. So I told my mom, and she made me another doctor appointment with the breast specialist. So I went back, and I had another ultrasound and another mammogram. And this time, 4 other tumors have grown in that time. So I had 5. And the inverted nipple looked strange. So she gave me a biopsy, and then I left, and then the very next day, I remember I woke up, and I was so happy that day. I was like, wow, today's a great day. And I got the call, and they're like, can you come and see us at the hospital? And I was like, sure. So I get there, and the nurse looks at me, and she goes, your mom didn't come with you? And I'm like, no. And she goes, that's a shame. And I didn't know why she was saying that. I was like, totally fine. I could go to doctor appointments by myself. And the breast specialist walks in, and she sits down next to me, and she puts her hand on my leg, and she says, the results came back, and you have breast cancer. So I called my mom, and I told her over the phone, which is not a very good choice, but I didn't know what to do at the time.
The phone rang, and I was like, that's weird. I'm like, she was at a doctor's appointment. She's like, Mom. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I have cancer.
And I remember her voice breaking, and she said, what? And she started just crying.
I literally ran out of the chiropractor's office, flew to the hospital.
She actually drove to the wrong hospital.
I was so swirling with thoughts and emotions, and I was freaking out. So finally I get to her. I thought they were just going to talk to her about, breast care because they told her not to worry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer. So moms don't get calls that say, I have cancer.
I remember her talking, but I don't remember what she was saying. I just was kind of froze.
And this doctor's voice, she sounded like the person from Charlie Brown, because she was like, rah, 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 rah. That's all you kind of heard, because I was just so focused on Brittney, and then I'm like, what do we need to do?
This was the point where I started all the doctor appointments, because that very day I was diagnosed, they sent me to a breast surgeon, and he's like, you have to remove your breasts now.
And everything just started to get out of control and go so fast. There was no thinking. Do you know what I mean? It was just a crazy mess.
And then they scheduled my double mastectomy, and that's when all the doctor appointments really, started.
That was the day we found out.
Oh my God, I remember it so specifically. I answered the phone, and then the only thing that she said to me was it was cancer. And I just cried.
It was May 6th, and they told me on the phone. And then I came here May 7th, day before my birthday. So I was like, all right. It wasn't as bad, but it was scary. I mean, you find out your sister's got like terminal cancer.
It was really sad. Like, other than just being shocked, like, it was just really sad and, like, confusing because, like, you didn't know what that meant next or, like, what was going to happen next and, like, what they were going to do. And then, I don't know, you just wanted to, like, hug her and take everything, like, take it all away, you know?
I had to leave work. I cried so hard.
Really?
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough.
I was paranoid because I thought the worst. She's my only granddaughter. And I want the best for her.
I wanted to cry. I did. I cried a lot. I cried a lot. I'm trying not to cry now. It's like heartbreaking. Like, I wish I was able to trade spots with her, you know? Her big brother, I couldn't help her, so it was up to her. She won, so that worked out for the best.
How did learning about the diagnosis impact your family?
Well, her dad kind of like just kind of kept to himself, kind of, you know, and then everybody prayed a little bit more and got a little more faith than we had before. And me and Brittney just hit the road looking for doctors that were going to fix this. So,
Did you find any?
I found a lot of really good ones, yeah. We found like one awful one, but we found an amazing one on my birthday. It was my birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an amazing doctor.
So metastatic breast cancer is breast cancer that had spread already beyond the breast, so it could have spread to your lymph nodes, your bones, your liver, your brain, just any other organ. That's when you're considered metastatic at that point.
It's a battle, but I think it's a battle that, like, can be fought, and I think that people just need to rally around that more and, like, fight the battle with them, and, like, research needs to happen more, and, like, this is the only cancer that kills, like, the breast cancer that, like, can kill you, like, but yet everybody only hears about, you know, the Susan G. Komen stuff, and, like, yeah, that's important, but, like, I think people need to understand that this is a cancer that can really do some damage to you, and I think people need to understand that, like, the people who are living through this are strong fucking people because they're living through this.
Metastatic breast cancer is the advanced stage, and this is the stage that kills, and we do need more funding for research, and it is a forever disease, and it's not the easy cancer like people say, and it does take away, you know, people's lives, people's loved ones, and we need to get more funding for the research so we could extend everyone's lives, because we still matter, we're still here, and we want more labs, more time with our loved ones. So I noticed friends who were my best friends, but I kind of grown distant from them for some reason, because I told you I dropped out of, I didn't drop out of high school, oh my god. Yeah. So I left high school to do cyber school, so I was kind of not as close with them. They kind of became even closer to me because they wanted to be there for me. Yeah. And then some people who I thought would be there for me weren't really there for me anymore. So that kind of showed me who my true friends were. Like, some people kind of treated me like I was dying, and I didn't like that because I wasn't dying. I was just, I mean, not really dying. I didn't feel like I was dying. I just had to get over a hump, you know? So I didn't like that, because I didn't like when people felt sorry for me, because I was fine. Like, yeah, I have cancer, but I was doing great, you know? But besides that, it just kind of showed me who my true friends were.
Do you ever wish that you could go back to that day and for none of it to have ever happened?
I wish that I could have went back to the day and went with her the day that they said 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer. Because knowing what I know now, I would have took her somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Because that day she came home and said that, and I was like, I remember I was literally sitting on the computer right there, and she was walking up the stairs, and she gave me the piece of paper, and she's like, this is what she said it was. She felt a mass, but she said, don't worry, this is what it is. 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer. And I was like, are you sure, Britt? Because, like, if she felt something, it just doesn't sound right. And Brittany's like, she's the doctor. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Who am I to say the doctor's wrong, right? I didn't go to school for 8 years to be, you know, a breast cancer specialist, breast care specialist. She did. So I'm like, all right, but I would like to go back to that day just so I could take her somewhere else.
And get a second opinion sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Okay, so normal people would be really sad that they were losing their breasts, but in the moment, it was weird because I didn't care, because I was like, I just wanted to live. So I was like, okay, these things are trying to kill me, so you could remove them all you want. So I went in with that mindset, and then after, like, actually seeing what it looked like was a little bit harder for me, because I knew I was going to be flat because I wasn't doing immediate reconstruction. So I remember the doctor removing my bandages, and I remember just like being like getting this bad feeling in my stomach, and like I wanted to throw up because I was kind of disgusted, because it was a big change from you know, having these big boobs to now being flat. So that was like the hardest part for me. But then moving on, like getting out of the hospital, I felt okay again. Like I was fine with it. Like I said, I kind of just fell in love with myself, so it didn't affect me too much.
Oh God, okay. So it was prom, and she was still like recovering from having the double mastectomy. So me and my date at the time, Jake, we went to the hospital to go visit her.
She looked beautiful. She came in her prom dress with her date. He looked amazing as well. And so they spent some time with me before the dance, so it made me feel better, even though I was there. I was in a gown still. I was in a hospital gown, so I mean, didn't have my hair done, but still in a gown. My graduation was actually my very first chemo treatment. So in the morning, I had chemo, and it made me sick, I remember. And I remember feeling nauseous, and I was really tired, but I was like, all right, graduation's tonight. So I took a little nap, and then I got ready and put my dress on, and my cap and gown. And as I was leaving, my next door neighbor came up to me, and she was like, she said, oh, my friend had cancer, breast cancer. And she goes, it spread to her brain. And then she died. Right before my graduation, she comes up to me and tells me this. So I go to my graduation, and I thought it was okay, but I was standing there on stage, and all my friends, the people I grew up with for, you know, my entire life, they're talking about how this is our time, you know, this is like our future, it's now starting. And like I was happy for them, but at the same time, I was like, do I have a future? Because I wasn't really sure, because I just had, you know, that stage 4 diagnosis like a week ago. So that was kind of going through my mind. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
She was always more mature than the like average kid her age, but I think that she grew in a way that was just, you know, beautiful. Like she grew into like this, like she just blossomed, you know what I mean? Like she didn't really miss out. I mean, she went to college for a little bit, you know, and then it came back, so we stopped going to school, but that just obviously wasn't where she was supposed to be. Like clearly it came back twice. She went back to college twice, and the cancer came back twice. So that was someone saying, you're not supposed to be here, you're supposed to be doing something else. So whatever plan God has for her, it was in that plan, and she's thriving in it because she's making a difference. So I don't think she missed out on anything.
So before cancer, I was sad and I didn't really like myself, and it was weird because I had like this tiny little body and I had double D's. So it was weird to go from double D's to flat, but I had double D's, I had pretty long hair, but I had no self-love. I didn't like myself at all. And then after my cancer diagnosis, I was flat. I had no boobs. I lost my hair from chemo treatments and I was bald, and pretty much everything I thought which would make me who I am and pretty, I lost. But for some reason, I had so much self-love at this point. Like, I could look in the mirror and I actually felt beautiful, even though I looked like a 12-year-old boy. And I just became like a happier version of myself.
So before you met her, you pretty much could not tell at all.
Oh, there's no way. I can never like tell this, because she's always literally talking so loud, always happy, and you never see her sad.
Did finding this out change how you viewed her?
If it did, it was just for the good, because like I said before, I don't care that she has cancer. Like she likes to say, and I love this. Cancer is not her; it's just a little part of her. So this doesn't represent Brittney, you know.
I mean, when you meet Brittney, like, she just has this, like, bubbly personality, and, like, you would never know looking at her, even after knowing her for, like, all these years and, like, becoming so close to her and spending, like, every day with her. Like, I don't look at her as someone who has cancer. I just look at her as, like, that's my best friend. Like, she's weird as fuck, man. But, like, I love her with my whole heart. I don't think I looked at her differently because of it. I think that, like, just knowing that she had cancer, I was just like, okay, cool, like, whatever. Like, that's just something that she has. Like, that's not who she is, so...
I am not cancer. I am not what happened to me. I do not let that define me. That is not who I am. That's not all I am. I am Brittney Beadle. I am happy, and I'm healthy, and I feel good, and I don't know. I'm me. I'm an experience. I'm here experiencing life, okay? So days that it's nice and like sunny, I'll go to the beach and just kind of relax, and I'll read a book and just enjoy it, because I feel like the beach is my happy place. It makes me feel better. Even I used to live by the beach, and so like my scan, like when I used to get my scans, it was by Daytona. So I'd get my scans, have scan anxiety, go to the beach, and one time I even dove into my clothes, and I'm like, all right, I feel better now. But other than that, I go to the parks because I'm a theme park junkie. I like to meditate and do yoga, and I'm writing a book, so I spend a lot of time writing and just hanging out with my boyfriend and my friends and just a normal people, stuff.
And obviously it's not always normal. There's always going to be hard times and stuff like that. What gets you through the hard times?
So I'm going to say my friends and my family. Mostly my mom, because on the bad days, she's always the one to remind me that, like, everything's going to be okay. And she was with me every step of the way through, all the bad times. Like, even when I lost my hair, she shaved her head off. Like, not her head. She shaved her hair off with me, and she would, like, stay up for hours, like, researching things. And she was just kind of, like, my rock through it all. And whenever I do get bad news, I always have this feeling. Like, the first thing that comes is the fear, of course, but then I get this feeling, and I kind of call it love, because I don't know what else to call it, but it's just like, all right, you're going to be okay, don't worry. And so I decide to, like, take that feeling, and I go with that rather than the fear, and that kind of helps me.
Moving on to the medical aspects of everything, what does a typical scan day look like?
Okay, so when I first started getting scans, when I was first diagnosed, I would have so much anxiety going into it. Before the scan, during the scan, and after the scan, my mind was just consumed with fears. And so I made a ritual, which before my scan, I dance it out. I play some like amazing music, and I just throw it out to the universe that it's going to be an amazing scan. I'm going to have no evidence of disease, and I dance to celebrate that I got the news that I was NED. So now when I go into my scans, it's weird because over time, like, the fear would become less and less and less, and now I have no fears whatsoever going into my scans. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's a scan. And if there is cancer for some reason, then whatever, I'm gonna get through it and do what I need to do to heal from it, and if there is not, then that's the point, that's the goal, so I celebrate.
So what's a typical treatment day like?
So they'll take like a little needle and they'll access my port and then create an IV that way, so they don't need to go through my veins because my veins are pretty crappy. But so they'll take my blood and then do my labs to see if I'm okay to get my treatment, to see if, you know, all my numbers of, I don't know what they do, but they make sure all my numbers are high enough. So medical stuff, so I can actually get my drugs. And then when it comes back all good, I'll go into a chair and then they'll give me, you know, whatever drug I'm on. Like I've done Herceptin and Perjeta, I've done a drug called Kidsila, now I'm on Herceptin again. And I'll usually get magnesium infusions as well because my magnesium is always low. So I'll just like hang out and while they give me my healing juices.
Every time I can go, I go so 90%? I don't know. But I try to go like every time because sometimes she stays there for like more than 3 hours, 4 hours, and I don't want her to stay by herself because she's already like getting treatments, she's by herself, and she likes to dance as well. So every time we go, I try to make like as much as fun as possible for her. So normally we have to be there by 7:45 normally if nothing changed. So she can have her report access where the treatment's gonna go in, and then she goes talk to her doctor. So they can like see what happened from her previous scan, and so they talk for like 10 minutes, pretty quick actually. And when she's done for her doctor, we go to her treatment to get her Herceptin. So this one takes usually 30 minutes, but if she needs magnesium, which is normally she always needs a little bit of fusion of magnesium, it takes more 1 hour. So we're talking about like 1 hour and 30 minutes of like treatment, 30 minutes from her Herceptin and 1 hour for magnesium. And after that, and if she doesn't have any scan, like head scan or something, we can just go home. So it depends on the day. It can be like something for 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, or if they're like late on something, it could be even more.
I feel like I've gone sometimes with her where people just don't say anything and you can tell that everyone's struggling, and then there's other times when you go and it's just like there's this positive energy and people are like, no, like, yeah, we have this condition or whatever, but like we're gonna get through it, like it's gonna get better. There's been a bunch of times where we've gone to treatments together and we both dressed up in onesies, and we have matching onesies that we got when we lived together, and we've gone in that a few times. And we used to go in our onesies a lot because we'd be like, oh, chemo treatment's like such like a sad, like intense thing to experience, so we want to make it fun, you know, not only for us but for like the other people that are there. So we would dress in like these obnoxious outfits and like be super comfortable and just go and like make the best out of this bad situation.
And it would kind of brighten our day, but it would also brighten the staff's day and everyone around me day, because like, I don't know, it's kind of a sad thing to be in chemo, you know? So it would just like brighten everyone's day, and it was just fun.
Going.
All right, we're set up, we're going. Getting my infusion of like Kidsila. So I don't have them anymore, so they're gone.
Yep.
But I've had brain metastasis in the past, and for brain metastasis, there's no chemo drugs that can attack it because most chemos don't cross the blood-brain barrier. So the only way to get rid of them is for radiation. And I've done targeted radiations. So there's this one called Gamma Knife, and I've had it done 4 times. And what they do is they take this big, like this metal, I don't know how to describe it, like a metal, not a mask, but a metal frame.
Okay.
And they'll kind of like attach it to my head. So they'll like literally put it in my head. I have scars on my forehead. And attach it to me. And then they'll like lock me in on this bed with, they'll lock me in on this bed, and then they'll send me under, and then just shoot like radiation into my brain, like at the areas that need the radiation to shrink the tumors. It's not as bad as it seems. I think the worst part of the Gamma Knife procedure is when they take off the metal frame, because like you could literally feel it, and your head gets really tight. It's really uncomfortable. Yeah. But when they're putting it on, they give me like some loopy drugs, so you kind of feel good. And then it puts you to sleep. So it's not too bad.
Killing some cancer, looking like a transformer. It was about an hour long. There was 4 tumors, so there was more than expected, but we got them. We're good.
So I just wanted to talk to, like, I guess you guys a little bit about how I'm feeling. Well, going into it,
I was nervous. It was weird. I didn't think I was going to be nervous, but I was. I will always hate, okay, the radiation part itself doesn't scare me, but the whole like getting drugged up and, you know, having a doctor put a metal frame on your head is scary. That's the scary part. And then afterwards, like them taking it off, that hurts. It doesn't hurt, but like you feel your head tighten. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just like everything in your head is just tight and like it's just so uncomfortable. It's the worst thing ever. And I don't like it. So I was scared for that, not so much the radiation going into it. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it still sucked because I was there frozen for, you know, a long time. And it's scary because like you're sitting there in there and you're like, this is real. This is happening right now. Like, I have cancer in my brain and I get checkups every 2 months and this is real. And that's scary and like, it's real. This is my life. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, you never think this would happen to you. But like, it does. It happens to anyone. It does not discriminate. It doesn't care who you are. It happens. But the good news is, everything's going to be okay. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm okay. And I don't know. I have a good feeling. And even though, you know, that stuff is scary and this stuff is scary, like, I'm still okay.
So right now, I'm on a clinical trial drug, which I just found out that I'm actually getting the drug.
Hi, Brittney! So I have your pills here. So awesome news. We got the report on the unblinding, so you are actually on the drug to catnip. Oh, so nothing changes. You're gonna keep on going.
Oh my god. This one is able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and it actually, I had a tumor, 2 tumors, and it actually shrunk them, so now they're gone. So, yeah. So yeah, treatments, it's progressing. But I'm on that clinical trial drug, and I get a shot of Zoladex, which is, so it's a pretty big needle, and it has like this little pellet. It's kind of like a rice pellet that's the size of it, and it'll just like inject it into me, and it's to shut down my ovaries because my hormones make my cancer grow, so I have no hormones in my body. Yay. No. So I'm on that, and then I get a shot of Exgeva for my bones since I have bone metastasis, so it'll make my bones stronger so they don't break or anything. And Herceptin. I'm on this drug called Herceptin with gets it through an IV in my port.
How do you feel knowing you're on the trial drug?
I feel really good because that means I'm not going to get any side effects from it because it's been almost a year now. So that's really good because I think whenever I switch drugs, I think the most annoying part is the new side effects that I have to deal with. But no side effects, so woohoo!
So I take Chinese herbal teas twice a day, and they're disgusting. But they really do make me feel better. So I notice, like, when I have my off week of them, I'm really tired and like run down, and my hot flashes are like insane. But when I'm on them, I really do notice a difference, and my scans have actually been coming out better since I've been on them. And I take a lot of vitamins, like vitamin D and stuff like that, and I just do a lot of spiritual work. I do a lot of meditation and like self-reflecting, and I really go in deep to kind of like heal the whole body, not just, you know, so the mind, body, and soul.
How do you keep such a happy and bubbly attitude through all of this?
I don't know. I think it's just like, I don't know. I told you I have that feeling, I call it love, that's just inside me, and like, it's just like, it just makes me feel better. Like, I just know that everything's going to be okay, and like, it's not like I hope, it's like I know. So like, I know I'm going to live like a long life, and then I'm going to be old and gray, and like, I just have a lot of faith, pretty much.
What she taught me, so see the world in different eyes, definitely. Sometimes see stuff in like a more positive way. Be kind to people all the time because you never know what they're going through. Not that I'm rude, it's just sometimes some people like they're rude because like this is actually funny. If someone is rude to her, she's not rude back to them because she's like, oh, maybe that person having a bad day, and I'm like, how can you do that? I can't, you know.
Yeah.
In traffic, someone does something like bad, and she's like, it's okay. You're probably having a rough day, and she has like a lot of empathy and sympathy for people. So that's something that I learn a lot because I usually can't. It's hard, but so like just put yourself in other people's shoes, because sometimes you're having a bad day, but you're actually not a bad person, you know. So all this, just like literally see the world with different eyes, think outside the box.
How do you feel when your doctors tell you that you're NED?
So NED is no evidence of disease. So it's like music to my ears. When, I get told that, my scan came out and there's no evidence of disease, it instantly fills me up, and I dance and I celebrate, and it feels really good, because you're not dying. I mean,
NED, bitch! We're fucking NED! No evidence of disease! Yes!
bad news that I had progression, I crashed a little bit. Like the world around me kind of just falls. And I kind of feel like every time, like the first thought is, this is it, I'm dying now, and I spiral just a little bit. I usually give myself one day to really feel those emotions, so then I don't have to feel them again, because like what's the point of like feeling them over and over again? So the first day, I'm always like super dramatic about it, and I'm sad, I'm really in my head, I'm letting all the fears kind of like float around, like all those what ifs, and then I slowly gather myself up within the next few days, so then I don't have to like visit that headspace again, because there's no point to it. Like, why feel those emotions over and over again? So,
what were your lowest points throughout this whole process?
I'm gonna say, okay, so 3 times stick out to me a lot, because most of the journey I feel like I was pretty positive, but there's like 3 dark times, I'm gonna say. So during treatment, when I was like my first round of treatments, where I lost my hair and was really sick all the time, like the days that I would feel like really sick and not myself, it was kind of hard to get myself to like remember it was going to be okay, because you are feeling so sick, and like those thoughts of like, oh my god, I might die, they are running through your head. So going through that was hard, actually on the rough chemo, because I kind of had to remind myself, okay, this is temporary, I'm going to have like better treatments that are going to help me and won't make me feel this sick. And the second lowest part, I'm going to say, was when my boyfriend broke up with me, because I felt like he was there with me a lot through, like he helped me so much get through all the hard parts, so I thought, now what am I going to do? Like, he's gone. And I thought that no one was going to love me anymore, because if, he loved me so much, if he can't deal with this, who's going to deal with this? So I just kind of felt like damaged goods, and I remember I didn't even want to continue on my treatments anymore, and I actually ended up missing a treatment, because I was just so sad, and I was like, what's the point of this? Because I felt like damaged goods. And my third lowest part on this journey was just in the summertime, like last summer, because I was on this drug called Zelota, and it made me really sick, and because I just had progression, so when I heard that I had progression, I kind of like, I'm running through treatments pretty fast, I feel like, so I thought, wow, like this is probably it for me, And And then they put me on a drug called Eloped, which I took orally every day, and it would make me really sick. I would be nauseous every day. I was so tired, I couldn't get out of bed. My feet, I couldn't walk because my feet had blisters on them and they were red and they burned really bad. And I just kind of wasn't me anymore, so everything that I was living for was kind of taken away from me from this drug. And I would literally had so much anxiety that I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would think I was dead. It was pretty crazy. And at the time, I was talking to my oncologist about this, and she didn't want to take me off it, so she just kept like lowering the dose, even though I told her I couldn't handle this. And I just kind of lost myself for a while I was taking this, until one day I was like, all right, this is enough. Like, I can't do this anymore. And then I took myself off the drug and slowly, rediscovered myself, I guess.
I'm sitting in a parking lot right now. I was supposed to have, let me put myself in park. I was supposed to have chemo today, and I was getting my PET scan results today, but they came back and my cancer got worse. It's in my spine, more spots in my spine and more spots in my ribs. And now it's in my pelvis too, again, because it was there previously, so it's back. I went in preparing for the worst, but I was like hoping for the best. And I usually don't do that. I usually just go in and like expect the best outcome. But like this time, I just knew. I knew it wasn't going to be good. I've been really stressed out, and I don't know. I've been going through some stuff, so I need to come up with a plan. I said last time that I was gonna like take time and heal, and I just never did because like life got to me. But like this time, I'm switching my treatment, so this time I'm going to take the time and I'm going to heal. I'm gonna put myself first and just do whatever I can to heal. I'm starting, I forget what it's called. It's a pill that I'm going to take twice a day for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to not take it for a week. And so it's 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And then once every 3 weeks, I'm going to come and get an infusion of Herceptin. So as of right now, that's my plan. I didn't get treatment today. I'm on my way home.
There were a lot of times that I was just like, I just can't do this anymore, because I'm just like for one person to go through all of this, I didn't understand why all this was happening, and I did want to give up. But then I would think about my family and how my mom would be, like if she lost her daughter, or if my niece didn't, because I'm so close with my niece. She's 6 years old, and like I want to see her grow up. I want to see her drive a car. So I would think about those things, and that would get me through, when I wanted to give up.
I'm taking Eloped again, and for some reason, whenever I take Eloped, I get really sad because I feel so sick. Like, then I'm sick in bed, and I just don't feel good, and it just kind of sucks, And I kind of think I'm coming to this realization that I think I've always thought, like, I was okay that I have cancer, like, whatever, like, I'm getting through it, I'm still living, but I think a part of me inside is actually really sad, because I really don't want to go through this. I don't want to have these treatments, and I can't work as much, so it's really hard to, like, just survive on the little money that I do have, because I can't work, because one, I'm sick, and two, because the government doesn't allow me to work much because I'm on disability. I get checks every month from disability and my insurance. I have a secondary insurance that helps me pay for my copays, which I really need, because if I had to pay for all my copays, I would really, really not be able to survive. So I like struggle with money, and like it's just really hard, and I really, really wish I just didn't have to deal with this. And today I'm just really sad. In the last few days I've been really sad. And I've been just laying in bed and I can't get out of bed because like you said, I'm sick and I'm sad. So like bed. And I'm sad that I'm laying in bed. So like it's a lose-lose situation. I don't really know what to do.
Brittney will always have a very special place in my heart. To see such a happy young girl go through so much at such a young age, it's heartbreaking. But she's pushing through. She's doing great. And the one thing that she told us when she was first diagnosed was, you're not allowed to cry when you're around her. So I always tried, and now I can't help it, but I always tried not to cry in front of her. And to see her be that strong for everyone else, it's amazing. She really is a special person.
I think how I found out that she wasn't Ned is that she texted me because she didn't want she wasn't able to say it in person because it was just so rough. And I don't remember what I was doing that day, but I know that whatever it was, I just stopped instantly and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and lay in bed. But I don't know. The idea of being so young and losing someone that's so important to you, that's something that no one should ever have to go through. And during that time I thought I was gonna have to go through that, and I was like, I would not survive that.
So I started my Instagram, kind of show my friends and family, kind of update them about what I was going through. And because I didn't know how to tell them, so this was my easiest way to just post and let them kind of see it. And then it just started a whole community started coming in. They're like, wow, I'm going through this too. And then it opened up to a whole kind of breast cancer, just cancer kind of community. And I've just been posting everything that I've been through ever since. And there's so many people who I've connected with over Instagram, and so many people who tell me how just me sharing my story helps them. Because they didn't know, maybe if I share something about my diet, or if I share, what I'm experiencing, they'll know, oh, I do this too, or, oh, maybe I should try that to see, if it resonates with them, and it's kind of a great community of support. I've walked in New York Fashion Week with Anna Ono and Cancerland. We put on the very first show for New York Fashion Week, starring all breast cancer previvors, survivors, and thrivers. So we walked in Anna Ono's lingerie. She makes lingerie specifically for people who have mastectomies and can no longer fit into regular bras. And we just kind of walked on that stage and showed everybody this is us, and we kind of shouted from the rooftops hey, we matter and we need better treatments, and we looked amazing while doing it. So it's really amazing when you meet people who are going through the same thing or something similar to you. It kind of I don't know, it's weird, but we get excited. We're like, wow, you have cancer, I have cancer too. And we get excited and we kind of like share stories. And I heard someone say this before, and I felt like it was a really good way to explain it, but it's kind of like going on a date with your soulmate, because it just kind of like lights you up and it just makes you feel good and knows that like you're not alone. Like there's other people going through this too, so it's not just you.
How do you think that she has changed since she was diagnosed?
I think, well, she's always been a light, always been like the bright side, and she's always been like the person who is level-headed, but I feel like she shares her light more, she sees her light more. I feel like she's just kind of expanded, do you know what I mean? And she helps other people to see how beautiful every mundane thing that you think could be is. Like, you know, we take for granted so many things, and she shows people that we shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Are you scared of dying?
So I'm actually not scared of dying, and I never really was scared of dying. I think my biggest fear was not getting to experience everything that I want to experience before I die, because I want to have a family one day and I want to travel the world, and I said I want to see my niece grow up, graduate, drive a car, and I just want to be here to experience everything. And since I was a little girl, I always wrote down that I was going to help make, you know, the world a better place and like make that change, and I need to make the change before I leave. So no, I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of not experiencing, because I am who I am now because it came, and the way it affected me, it just kind of made me me, and it brought great opportunities into my life, and you know, I made so many amazing friends, and you know what, yeah, it sucks, but I feel like I'm at a place where I kind of put cancer in like a box and kind of just like push it away. Like I don't need to think about it. So no, I don't wish that, you know, I could change it.
I feel like if anyone can get through something like that, it would be her. I feel like she's just so strong, and she is just so like motivated to like live her life and like experience all these amazing things, and she just wants to like have a life, you know? And I don't know, so like, yeah, it's really hard to watch it, but then at the end of the day, you realize that like, no, like it's okay, like it's Brittney, like she's gonna get through it.
Of course it's hard, because sometimes she like, of course she complains from like, she have like some mental breakdowns, because that we're human, like this could happen to anyone. But I don't know what makes it different with Brittney. Every time like I see her, I'm like, how can you handle this like such in a good way, you know? Because I always tell her like, maybe if you never got cancer, we wouldn't be together, because she used to be like actually the opposite, you know. So she was like a little bit depressed sometimes and all this stuff, and now she's always so like happy. So cancer literally, I think, taught her so much, and she's always like trying to teaching this to people, and like spread like the message on how the world can actually be good even though we're having a rough time. So especially with Brittney, I don't think I see in a bad way, if it makes sense. Mm-hmm.
So about life, I realized that like, and I don't say this in a negative way, I say in the best way possible, like nothing really matters. Like, you know, like when like you hang on to every little thing and like everything upsets you, like every little thing, I don't do that. Like nothing bothers me anymore, because like at the end of the day, who cares? So say, you know, someone, even like when someone hurts me, so say I get in a fight with one of my friends, I don't really let it affect me. I usually make up with them pretty quickly because life's too short not to. Or say I'm having a really bad day, I spilled my coffee, or someone cuts me off in traffic. Who cares? Maybe they're having a bad day, you know? I spilled my coffee, alright, I'll get a new one, or maybe I wasn't meant to have the coffee, who knows? So I just kind of learned, like, life is simple, and just kind of enjoy it as you go, and don't let the little things, you know, get you down. And then about cancer, I learned so much. We do need more funding for most cancers, you know, like metastatic breast cancer is so underfunded. Only 2% of all funding from like most organizations go to metastatic breast cancer, but metastatic is the only one that kills you. So if you have a cure for metastatic breast cancer, you have a cure for all of the stages. So why aren't we focusing more on curing stage 4 rather than creating awareness. And just about myself, I kind of learned about how strong I am because I didn't think I could handle all this. I remember there was a time where I thought, oh, if I get brain meth, I would never be able to handle that. I handled it so well, So I just kind of learned, how strong I am and just who I truly am. I was already pretty spiritual, but when I got diagnosed, it even kind of enhanced it, and I kind of just really dug deep into myself, so to help me heal. I would probably tell my 18-year-old self not to worry too much, and it's okay to be sad. Because I didn't know it was okay to be sad, so I always, I didn't really let anyone in too much because I just wanted them to think I was strong and I was happy because I didn't want them to see the sad part of me. But I would tell her, it's okay to feel those emotions and it's okay not to be strong all the time.
Metastatic breast cancer, definitely, the whole, concept of it and the fact that, she has it and she's, thriving with it, it makes me believe that even though some days really suck and some days are just really absolutely awful, if she can get through it, I feel like I can get through anything. So I might have an awful day or something, but then I think about it and I'm my best friend is thriving with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I can get through this.
I've learned so much from her. She's so strong. I just wish that she didn't have to go through this. Because, obviously it should have been me. I'm older. I'm her mom. She shouldn't have to do that. But she kind of reminds me, if I'm in a grumpy-ass mood, things can get better. They will get better. She helps me to see a different perspective all the time. She helps me to enjoy my life a little more, and not take everything for granted the way I used to, or just work. Now it's play as hard as you work and just kind of cherish every moment you have.
Well, I mean, she was so young, they told her she was gonna die, and it's just if it was me, I would have just gave up and that would have been it, but she's gone so far, done so much. I mean, if she could do it, if she can get out of here and go do whatever she wants and have cancer, that's strength. I mean, if she can do it, I mean, I don't know. She's strong and she's smart and she's way more than I thought she would ever be. I mean, I think cancer might have actually pushed her to be a better person and to do more and do better. But, yeah.
If you could go back to the day she was diagnosed, knowing what you know now, what would you tell her to help her through it?
I would just say exactly what we've been telling her. You've got this. She's had this from the moment this happened to her. She literally was so strong. She was like, all right, I'm going to take a day. I'm going to feel it. And then I'm going to move on. Most people would not be able to do that. And the next day, that is what she did. She got up and she just kept going. And she is just so strong and focused, and I think that's what keeps her so healthy because she is just so mentally strong, But yeah, I would tell her the same thing. You've got this.
I'm just grateful every day that I wake up and, take my first breath and I'm like, wow, I'm alive. And that's literally the most beautiful thing, is to be alive and have your health. And I just kind of view the world as, even though bad things happen, I still think it's this most amazing, magical place, and I just am really grateful for life.
And then if you could say anything to Brittney right now, what would you tell her?
I love you. I love you. I couldn't imagine my life without her. And at this point in my life, I can't lose her,
I just think that everyone should know how amazing she is. Not just because she's my little girl, but she is. She's an amazing human being, and she's strong, and she's a good friend and a daughter and an aunt. I mean, Rosie loves her to pieces. You know how she is with her. She's just an amazing human being.
I would tell her that I love her and that I can't imagine my life without her in it. And that, Brittney, you're the most amazing person that I've ever met. And I love you with my entire heart. And I'm so excited to grow old and gray with you and live next to each other and rock in our rocking chairs, because you're going to get through this and you're going to make it. Because if anyone can beat cancer, it's you.
That I love her. Think about her all the time. And you'll beat this. You've been beating it, and you will. And you'll grow old. And I love you.
Well, of course, I love you. I'm always going to be here for you, whatever happens. You always say that you're afraid of that one day I'm going to move to Brazil and leave you here. I promise it's never going to happen. Whenever I go, wherever I go, I'm going to take you with me. So we're stuck together until we die.
You know, when I was first diagnosed, my mom wanted to take me to this very place because of the healing vortexes, and I didn't know if I would ever get to be here, because I didn't know if I would be alive to see it. And it's been 5 years later, and I'm here, and I'm about to cry. And I'm here, and I'm alive, and I'm so happy. And I just took 2 awesome road trips, the spur of the moment. I'm living my life on this amazing planet. And this is exactly where I want to be. Healthy, happy, alive. This right here is my miracle. And I'm gonna keep living this miracle until I'm old and I'm gray. I'm just really grateful in this moment.